Coming up on The Cut.
Thousands of Americans rallied together for No King's Day protest.
Arizona introduces this new form of technology to help detect wildfires.
And March Madness is coming to an end with the Final Four happening this weekend.
All this and more coming up on The Cut.
The Cut starts now.
Hello and welcome to The Cut Network. I'm Ryan Moffitt.
And I'm Sydney Voorhees.
Pakistan announced that it would host peace talks between the U.S. and Iran after a month of war. Neither the U.S. nor Iran have confirmed this statement from Pakistan about peace talks. President Trump made no comments about meeting in Pakistan, but emphasized that current talks with Iran were going well. Iran dismissed meetings in Pakistan and claimed they were a cover about 2,500 Marines landed in the Middle East. Iranian spokesperson Mohammad Bagher Kalibaf had strong words toward U.S. troops, quote, waiting for the arrival of American troops on the ground to set them on fire and punish them regional partners forever, end quote. Tensions are present for both countries as the war continues despite what was supposedly going to be a short conflict. Surrounding countries and Iranian citizens currently plead for the two countries to stop fighting.
In Los Angeles, dozens of protesters were arrested for failing to disperse after a No Kings rally on Saturday. Thousands of rallies, most of which were peaceful, were held last weekend to protest President Donald Trump and the war in Iran. Organizers said there were more than 3,100 events registered in all 50 states. However, downtown Los Angeles turned violent as hundreds of protesters surrounded a federal detention center. Some threw rocks, bottles, and broken concrete blocks at police, injuring 2 officers, according to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security in a statement on Saturday night. LAPD said Sunday that 74 people were arrested in connection with failing to heed the dispersal order given after the rally ended. Another person was taken into custody on suspicion of possessing a dagger. Andre Andrews Jr., a Navy veteran and independent journalist, walked the route of the rally and filmed video of the event. He said authorities gave the dispersal order and sprayed tear gas when protesters did not comply. But the protesters came prepared, armed with shields and gas masks. Andrews said they responded by throwing empty tear gas canisters and broken concrete blocks back at the officers. Quote, "The peaceful protest was good for the cause," Andrews said. Quote, "But the other people, they were definitely causing problems." Police said those arrested included 8 children and 1 woman dressed as the Statue of Liberty, who was seen smiling as she chatted with the officer who led her away. The No Kings rallies really took the world by storm. U.S. organizers estimated that the first 2 rounds of No Kings rallies drew in more than 5 million people in June, 7 million in October, and 8 million on Saturday. Demonstrations were also held in more than a dozen other countries, according to co-executive director Ezra Levin of Indivisible, a progressive advocacy group that spearheaded the demonstrations. Quote, "It was powerful, it was historic, it was joyful, it was boisterous," Levin said Sunday. Quote, "I'd say it went pretty well."
Arizona wildfire season is on its way, and state officials believe they have found a way to detect them. Cut reporter Nicole Alejandro has how this new technology is keeping people safe. Nicole?
Thank you, Ryan. Arizona is using AI-powered cameras to detect wildfires, KTAR reported on Friday. As the wildfire season approaches, Governor Katie Hobbs announced on Friday that 7 AI-powered cameras have been installed across the state. The cameras are a part of a new project called AZ FireCam, which uses 360-degree view cameras to detect wildfire smoke and notify the Arizona Dispatch Center. The AI-powered cameras will allow for faster response times in the early minutes of a fire. Governor Hobbs said in a statement, quote, "Every minute and every second counts when a wildfire breaks out. We are leveraging emerging technologies and staying ahead of the curve to keep people safe and mitigate the threat of wildfires." The 7 cameras are placed in rural and wildland areas throughout Arizona, including the Hualapai Mountains, Chiricahua in southeastern Arizona, as well as locations in Maricopa County, Pinal County, and Tucson. The new cameras also come as the Department of Forestry and Fire Management's new dispatch center nears completion. State Forester Tom Torres said the cameras are a, quote, major advancement in early wildfire detection, giving our firefighters and dispatchers the critical intelligence they need to respond faster and better protect our communities. For the Cut Network, I'm Nicole Alejandro.
Thank you, Nicole. We will keep you informed as the cameras are put in place across Arizona. Last Friday, pro golfer Tiger Woods was involved in a car crash and arrested on suspicion of impairment in Martin County, Florida. Woods was traveling at high speed when he clipped a pressure cleaning truck, which led to the car turning over on its side. On the scene, investigators described Woods as lethargic. He blew triple zeros after agreeing to a breathalyzer test, but declined to provide a urine sample. The story closely aligns with Woods' 2017 arrest when he was found asleep behind the wheel and attributed it to a bad mix of medication. Tiger Woods' manager and the PGA Tour have declined to comment on the situation at the time. This came after Woods said he was about to prepare for the upcoming Masters in April. Woods spent 8 hours in a jail on Friday, but his next step is facing the charges of driving while intoxicated, damage to property, and refusal to submit a urine test. As of right now, Woods came out with a statement saying he's stepping away from golf at the time.
Formula One was back in Suzuka last weekend. Cut reporter Abby Cervenak has what happened and how this may change the rest of the season. Abby?
Thank you, Sydney. This past weekend, during the Japanese Grand Prix, Oliver Bierman had a major crash, sparking discourse about new FIA regulations. On Saturday, March 28th, the Japanese Grand Prix took place, making it the third race of the 2026 Formula One season. Haas driver Oliver Bierman had a heavy, high-speed crash resulting in a 50-gig collision into the barriers. The crash happened during lap 21 while Bierman was following Alpine driver Franco Colapinto after both had made pit stops. In an attempt to pass Colapinto, Bierman grazed the grass, losing control of the car, crashing into the barriers. When trying to overtake, he used the boost engine setting to gain extra speed, but it created a 50 km/h speed differential between the two cars. Bierman's speed was over 191 miles per hour when he crashed off the track. He was seen climbing out of the car and being assisted by a race marshal as he limped. Bierman was taken to the track's medical center where they confirmed he had no fractures. Haas announced later that Bierman suffered a right knee contusion after impact. Bierman's crash led to fellow drivers expressing frustration towards the regulations while raising safety concerns. After the race, the FIA released a statement about Bierman's crash, stating there are ongoing discussions about possible regulation changes. At this time, no changes have been made or announced by the FIA about the 2026 season's regulations. For the Cut Network, I'm Abby Cervenak. See you at the paddock.
Thank you, Abby. We will keep you updated when a decision is made. In the wake of sexual abuse allegations, Cesar Chavez Day has been rebranded across the nation. From California to Minnesota, elected officials and civil rights groups are distancing themselves from Cesar Chavez's name. Allegations recently surfaced that he sexually abused women and girls in the 1960s as he became the face of the farm workers movement. Efforts had to be swift as the day that historically celebrated the life and legacy of the Latino rights advocate was his birthday, March 31st. Rebranding has looked a little different in every city. Tucson's celebration was instead billed as a community and labor fair. Grand Junction, Colorado renamed theirs the Sisibuere celebration, and El Paso, Texas marked Tuesday as Community and Labor Heritage Day. Minnesota lawmakers voted to end the Cesar Chavez holiday in their state, while California and Colorado both passed bills to rename Cesar Chavez Day as Farm Workers Day. In our own backyard, Cesar Chavez High School in Phoenix has temporarily changed its name to Champion Circle High School. Many people, particularly those close to the movement, are experiencing feelings of betrayal following the allegations towards Chavez. The New York Times recently reported that Chavez groomed and sexually abused young girls who worked in the movement, including co-founder Dolores Huerta. Quote, "It was a personal hurt and a betrayal," Jose Luis Chavez said. Chavez, who is of no relation to Cesar, can I redo that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah.
Okay. Chavez, who is of no relation to Cesar Chavez, is the founder and president of a committee that has organized the Cesar Chavez celebration for Mesa County, Colorado for the past decade. He also said his committee and greater community is feeling a lot of hurt and anger. The annual Grand Junction celebration evolved into a gathering with music, food, classic cars, and high school students accepting scholarships. Chavez said canceling was simply not an option. Organizers with the Arizona Cesar E. Chavez and Dolores Huerta Holiday Coalition encouraged supporters of the movement to continue showing up for one another, whatever that looks like going forward. Quote, "Even when we thought about canceling, we chose to keep going because this movement is bigger than a name or one person," the group said in a social media post. Quote, "No single individual defines it. We, the working people, do."
The Latin Soul Festival is back in the Valley. Cut reporter Deanna Nietzsche-Porg has how you can attend the festivities. Deanna?
Thank you, Ryan. Mark your calendars, Arizona community, because the annual Latin Dance Festival is coming to Tempe on April 10th and 11th, 2026. Latin Soul Festival is a place and time for celebration of Latin culture through movement, salsa, bachata, Latin house, and more. The festival will offer 2 full days of programming with sessions led by visiting artists from all across the United States, as well as local dance professionals, professors, and musicians who will lead a wide range of dance workshops. Over the course of the weekend, more than 14 guest artists will lead more than 17 workshops, bringing together more than 1,000 students and community members. This year's event will be held at ASU Tempe campus, continuing a growing tradition. Arizona State University students also spend their semester preparing for the event, working closely with faculty and bringing their performance to life on the festival stage. Don't forget to wear comfortable clothing as you join the workshops open to all skill levels. There is something for everyone to enjoy and experience at the Latin Soul 2026. For the Cut Network, I am Deanna Chibrook.
Thank you, Deanna. We can't wait to take part in all of the activities. Now, Cut Entertainment anchor Angel Garcia has everything that happened this week in entertainment. Angel?
Thank you, Ryan. Hello, and welcome to the entertainment news segment on The Cut. From rejections to latest music releases, let's get right into it. On X, formerly known as Twitter, reality TV star Kim Kardashian allegedly tweeted about Oscar winner Michael B. Jordan, stating, quote, "He deserves it," and "Is he single? Asking for a friend," end quote. Soon after, X users were quick to say that Jordan didn't hold back when he allegedly responded back to Kim's response. Jordan's response read, quote, "I'm good. Every time a successful black man is winning, somehow you try to insert yourself into the moment and shift the narrative. Not happening here. I worked too hard for this to turn it into something else. Respectfully, keep me out of it," end quote. This rumor sparked X users into going into a frenzy. Some users respected Jordan's response and stood by his values, while others were quick to call him for being too disrespectful. However, there's a catch. These tweets were never real. At the time of the rumor spreading, Jordan hasn't posted to his verified X account since July of 2024. There is no evidence that he posted these remarks, along with Kim. Sources noticed that the account that posted the initial statement had a different handle from Jordan's verified X account. So, moral of the lesson? Always fact-check sources. Speaking of facts, the long-awaited album Bully officially released this past Saturday. Stream Bully on all music streaming platforms. That's all the entertainment I have for you this week. If you plan to act a fool this April 1st, remember to have fun doing it. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Garcia Angel, and this is The Cut Entertainment.
Thank you, Angel. Let's head on over to Cut Sports anchor Cindy Craven with this week's sports news. Cindy?
Thank you, Ryan, and welcome to this week's sports wrap-up on the Cut Network. March may be over, but the madness is still here for a few more days. The Final Four games in the men's and women's NCAA bracket are all happening this weekend. There must be something in the air over in Storrs, Connecticut, because both their teams will be competing for a spot in the championship game. Tonight, number 1 seeds UConn and South Carolina will be facing off right here in Phoenix, Arizona at 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. It's also important to note that this will be South Carolina's 6th consecutive Final Four appearance. Not long after, number 1 seeds Texas and UCLA will play at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time for the second spot in the championship game scheduled for Sunday, April 5th. In the men's division, number 2 UConn and number 3 Illinois will play tomorrow at 3:09 p.m. The second spot in that championship will go to the winner of the game after at 5:49 p.m. between number 1 seeds Michigan and Arizona. If you know me, you know I love stats, so let's look at some of the stat breakdowns going into the Final Four round this weekend. Data found from ESPN tells us that UConn's men's team has about a 48% basket completion rate from the entire season. Illinois is not far behind them with a completion rate of 46%. In the game that follows, Arizona and Michigan both have about a 50% completion rate. However, Arizona and Michigan are shooting significantly more shots per game. The increased amount of shots throughout the entire season helps give us a better idea of the true ability of some of these players. But if my failed March Madness bracket tells us one thing, it's that stats are never 100% guaranteed. While we may know a rough estimate of the team's ability during a season, their performance in a game is dependent on more than just their previous experience. There's a reason they call this tournament March Madness. In other exciting news, the MLB season is now in full swing. The season opener was on March 25th in San Francisco, where the Yankees took down the Giants to claim the first win of the 2026 season. This is just the beginning, so make sure to hop on to wherever you watch baseball and start your season right. That's about all I have for you this week. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. For the Cut Network, I'm Cindy Craven.
Thanks, Cindy. A Wisconsin town can now leap for joy because Chesney, the kangaroo, was found after being missing for 3 days. The 16-month-old kangaroo, named after the country singer Kenny Chesney, hopped over an 8-foot fence at his farm after being startled by stray dogs. This subsequently led to his keeper, Debbie Marlin, and others covering 160 miles around the town to track down the runaway. Quote, "I was putting on about 37,000 steps per day looking for him. I haven't done so much exercise in a very long time," end quote. The search crew rented heat-seeking drones to help find Chesney. The drones helped locate him as he had only stayed within 3-mile radius of the farm. Chesney ran from the group multiple times before finally being lured with food. Marlin plans to add a mesh net above the enclosure to prevent any further escape plans by Chesney. Sydney, this is a crazy story. I mean, just kangaroos running around in Wisconsin. I've got a question for you, a kangaroo question. Would you rather box a kangaroo or live in a kangaroo's pouch the rest of your life?
I think I'd rather live in the pouch because I don't think I would survive the boxing match.
Not a fighter, huh?
I don't know. I don't want to be too confident.
There's some high rent you got to pay
Do you
to
think
live in
you
a
could be
I know it.
kangaroo?
I am living in a kangaroo's pouch in Phoenix right now. So
Really?
be careful
Where
what
is-
you wish
where is
for.
she?
Downtown Phoenix. I keep her locked up. 8-foot fence. But that'll wrap up Kangaroo Talk for the day. We thank you guys for joining us. Be sure to follow us on Instagram @thecut_network. Have a nice night.